It's Donington Park, it's the National Circuit, it's Paul O'Neill, hello, it's Anthony Jordan, hello.
Yes.
You've been a busy boy, but let's talk about TCR. It's humid. I've had a few spots of rain on me, mate. It's all happening, isn't it?
It's a very interesting day that we've got here. The weather is very 50-50 for the drivers. It's on and off. Half the grid are saying it's going to rain for race 2. Half the grid are saying it's not going to rain for race 2. We have no idea, but yeah, it's getting a bit horrible out here, I've got to say.
Yeah, humid. Not nice for a driver. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that for
and
nothing.
Noisy.
And noisy, actually. Yeah, as a 747 comes over the top of us. You won't be able to see that, but you'll be able to hear it.
Oh yeah.
Quickly, I'm just going to bring Mickey Butler from Goodyear into the mix. So just follow us. Just want to speak to Mickey. We had a couple of tyre failures in the first TCR race this morning. It was pretty cool. Wasn't massively hard for the tyre. We've got obviously a resurfaced track. One thing as a driver I know is if you ask too much of the tyre and smash over curbs, then you're going to have a failure. There wasn't loads of failures. There was a couple of people with problems, but there were answers for those problems, wasn't there?
Yeah, you know, you're an ex-racing driver. You know, my motto, stay off the curbs. You know, we've had one with Sargent, he's hit the tyre wall, you know, tyre barrier at the last chicane, and that seems to be the problem area, the last chicane, running wide over the code. They keep repeatedly going over them, sleeping policemen, you're gonna have failures. So the Sargent tyre, self-inflicted, and we had something else, another area, and we're looking into it, but stay off the curbs. You know, everyone else seemed to get through that race all well, but the new surface is generating a lot of heat. It retains the heat as well. We were still getting track at 29. Yesterday in qualifying was up to 42 degrees, and we were seeing tread temperatures over 135. So it was really, you know, luckily it wasn't a race yesterday afternoon, so we might have had a few issues then, but it's cooled off. Teams have now got some data because it's a long race. They're now looking at the tyre wear and how they can adjust, how we can improve it. But people have got to realise as well is they're restricted on how many tyres are. They're only allowed 6 tyres a weekend to do free practice, 30-minute qualifying, and then 2 25-minute long races. It's asking a lot. So the drivers have got a lot to look after them. You know, especially front-wheel drive over a long race distance as we go.
Is that why we see the clever drivers come to the fore? You've got to say Jensen Brickley is somebody that has been pretty impressive, isn't he?
Oh, you look at him, but you've got to look at the Coopers as well. They seem to have a lot more balance in the car. They can seem to put them where they are. But you know, it's like, as you're in a drive, once you're in the groove, everything says you're not putting as much steering input, you're not overworking the tyres, you're controlling the car. But some drivers still learning the trade.
Do you take this data away and it helps with compounds in other championships, say?
We have to. You're always analysing, you're always understanding, and it's in a changing world. You know, everything is moving on. Everything, the polymers, the oils, the stairs, all changing. You know, we're going to a sustainable future that we've got to start doing more and more to make it more going forward. So we're always analysing stuff. Anything we find from here, you know, if we've had an issue here, the tyres go back. They go and get X-ray, go and check. We've got the full history of a tyre.
Have these lot got enough wets for this next one? Is it going to be wet? You must know.
Well, I've got enough on the truck.
Have they changed the wets yet?
No. It's just, you know what it is? There was the thing at 3 o'clock was going to have 10 millimetres of rain, so, but it seems to have changed now, so let's see. But there'll be a last-minute panic, as always.
Can I ask you a final question? Do you make more money if it's wet?
I don't make any money.
Okay, cheers, Mickey from Goodyear. Spot on. Cheers, mate. Appreciate it. I can see that AJ is with Chris Smiley.
I am indeed. Chris, mate, P7, a solid result for you in that one. Tell us, I mean, this championship, it's been a tough one for you because champion last year. But mate, tell us what's been happening this year.
Yeah, we're just slow in a straight line, like stupidly slow in a straight line. There's cars past me in race 1 with 40 kilos on board, and we're losing 4 car lengths up the hill. We'll come out of Coppice, we hit all their apexes, come down the back straight, and we lose another 4 car lengths. It's just the balance of performance worldwide for the Honda at the minute is just not fair. You know, it's just not fair. You know, we've just spent the last 2 hours looking through all our data, and our car's actually handling really well now. But we turn right out of turn 1, we lose 2 car lengths. We go up the hill, we lose 4 car lengths. We turn right at Coppice up at the top, and we lose another 4 car lengths. So it's what is it? It's a waste of time for us at the minute. Basically, that's what it is for us, you know. And it's actually quite sad, because I don't want to be faster than all the other cars. I want to have the same possibility as everybody else has out there, you know. It's just very, very tough. You know, we have a lot of sponsors. You know, we put a lot of effort in to make this happen, and just to be slow in a straight line, we are just wasting our time.
Yeah, I mean, from that one, I can imagine the frustration that can come through from that one. But you know, from behind the scenes, how much can you guys do from there? Is there anything?
We can do nothing.
Yeah.
You know, you can get into my car and you can drive it in a straight line, and if I'm in another car and it's faster than you, you're going to beat me. No matter what talent you have, you're going to beat me in a straight line. So, yeah. What are we at the minute? We're just extremely frustrated. You know, we look through our onboards in here, and we're hitting every apex. We're doing everything we should. We're braking in the right places, but we can't overcome a difference of 4 car lengths in a straight line. It's just too much, and yeah, it's just frustrating. You know, it's how anyone higher up the hierarchy can look at that and say that they have a similar chance that everyone else has. It's not the same.
Yeah.
It's just not level. But yeah, listen, I just drove around that race. You know, what's the point in damaging the car? There's no point.
Yeah.
You know, the damage the rear bumper and the front bumper to defend for 6th place. What's the point?
Yeah.
There's no point. So, yeah, we just drove around.
No.
So. That's it.
And
there's nothing really much more you can say.
You've been fraught with challenges as well, because Silverstone, obviously, with the contact with the barrier as well, that was a hefty chunk. And you know, honestly, I have felt for you for this season, mate, because you were on point last year, and it's just not gone the way, has it?
Yeah, you know, Silverstone was a racing incident. Now, it was a sloppy racing incident, but it was an incident. But what people don't realise is we've had 3 weeks to repair the car. The parts arrived on Wednesday afternoon, and they put it back together in the truck with all the bits that they had to make it roll, and they basically stayed here to 4 a.m. on Wednesday night to make it that we could sort of get it somewhere near for Thursday. They've done all the setup, they've done all the other bits and pieces to it on Thursday. You know, we're lucky even to be here. You know, Nestor was over on Nestor was here on Thursday and Friday. Yeah, we've gained a little bit of experience. But I'm telling you now, you put Nestor out in that car out there, he ain't going to be much further up the grid than where I am in it.
Yeah, I can imagine. Very frustrating for you, mate. But honestly, with race 2 coming up, you've got the reverse grid as well. I'm curious to see what you can do, because you seem a little bit more on it this weekend, because P7 is still a good result.
Yeah, P7's fine. You know, I'm not making little of a P7, but I drove around for 25 minutes, and yeah, that was it.
Mate, we wish you the best for race 2.
Thanks.
Cheers.
Thanks.
Thank you, Chris. Well, Chris Smiley, very, very frustrated this season. Understandably, though, it's been a challenge. How's his teammate, though?
Yeah, Scott Sumpton. I couldn't really quite hear what Chris Smiley was saying, but I'm assuming it was about his accident at Silverstone. A lot of damage caused. Not great, is it, as a teammate seeing that? But your Silverstone was absolutely epic, but it involved a lot of contact.
Yeah, no, it was really sad to see what happened to Chris. I was happy that he was all okay after the race, but yeah, it was a struggle for the team to get the car here to Donington. I was helping them get the car ready, but yeah, for my Silverstone, a lot of contact, getting the elbows out, as I'd say, but yeah, I can't really complain. P3 in quali, highest qualifying position, and race 1, good race experience, and then again with race 2 was leading. It's a shame about that little bit of contact with Alex Lee, but overall can't complain. It's a big step up from where he was at the start of the year, and just keep on looking to go in a forward direction.
Looking at that race you were just in, you are a new man, aren't you? I mean, battling for 10th is probably not where you want to be, because you know you can be further up. But what a battle that was, because that was for pole position for this race coming up, and you weren't letting that one go, were you?
No, I wasn't. I saw the team hold out the pit bull saying P10. I was like, I just wanted a checkered flag to come out. But yeah, it's not where we would want to be. I'd like to be a little bit further up, but considering we've got that 40 kilograms on board, just to get it up that hill is just a struggle. But no, I'm just sort of doing a little rain dance now. I'm trying to get the team to do a rain dance, because I think it would just level it out a little bit for the race 2. So fingers crossed it rains, but yeah, we'll just have to see what we can do for race 2.
tell us about this 40 kilogram compensation weight. So it's a handicap because you were so good at Silverstone. 40 kilograms goes in the car. That is to slow you down. What effect does it have? Is it just doesn't make the car turn very well? What is the score for everybody watching at home?
It's a lot of different things. It's my first time carrying this amount of weight, so it's a bit of a struggle for me to see how the car handles and necessarily see how it goes in the race run as well. In qualifying, you can definitely notice it, just the minimum speed. You have to keep that minimum speed up, otherwise it's just an extra 40 kilograms that you have to pull coming out of the corner. So it was just about getting on that throttle a little bit earlier, carrying the speed. So for qualifying, it wasn't too bad. We could try and carry the speed, but then you only had like for me, it felt like a smaller window. So it'd maybe be 2-3 laps where the tyres were at their peak, and then after that they'd just fall off the cliff. And that's the tyres, but then also the brakes, because the car has to slow down at extra 40 kilograms, and it's a lot on the car. But yeah, for me, it's a massive difference having that 40 kilograms. But like I said, just see what we can do for race 2 and be nice and confident, not worry about what's behind, just keep on looking to go forward.
Exactly. Just quickly, with it being wet, if it is in race 2, what does that 40 kilograms do then? Is it a worse thing to have, or is it a better thing to have?
I think it may not help, but I think it will level things out a little bit more. For me, where I've done all of the pre-season testing in the cold, in the rain, I feel really confident in the FK7 in them conditions. But yeah, I think we've done a test with 40 kg on board in the wet as well, so we know we can carry it in the wet. And yeah, I just want everybody to do a rain dance, really. I just want it to rain, but yeah, hopefully it rains. But if it doesn't, we can still have a good race.
For sure. Very, 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 very last question. Why do they call you Mr. Pickles? Because it's one of the best nicknames I've ever heard someone be given.
I still need to get it back on the car, but it's from when I passed my driving test. My mum put it on Facebook saying Mr. Pickles. So my mum and dad always called me it from a little boy, so it just stuck. And then it was actually when I was with Essex and Kent, they saw it on Facebook, took the mick out of it, but it's sort of stuck now. It's yeah, it's what I'm known as, so we just have to keep it going. But yeah, no, it's a funny story behind it.
I didn't know what the story was, but now I know. But Mr. Pickles, thank you very much. Have a good one, starting from pole in a bit. Top man. Cheers, fella. Top work. Right, let us see what is going on. Oh my word, we've got Rob Boston Racing Racers and an ice cream. AJ,
yeah.
Talk me through. Look like the Men in Black.
I've got Dumb and Dumber here, but I'm going to let them choose who's who out of the two of them. Who's who?
You and Paul.
Oh, me and Paul. Oh, there you go.
That's
I'm
nice.
Dumb, you're Dumber, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. I was just going to say, should we swap that microphone to you and then smash you in the face with it?
No!
I knew it! I knew it!
Absolutely
Are you mates with them lot?
No, not at all.
Do you know what's really bad? I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave it there. But I was gonna say, do you know what I like about you? But I can't say the punchline because we're live on a stream.
Right, okay, that's
Do you want to
fair.
lick it off me, mate?
No, I'm fine.
I will let you crack on.
No, thank you so much. Do you know what? I've not planned either of these things. But anyway, he's going to finish that. Joe Marshall, Jack Constable. Boys, you've had an interesting one on this one. Joe, let's talk about you first. Retirement for the race. What happened? Because we thought it was power steering failure, but saying it was steering arm?
No, I mean, we got off to an all right start. The first 4 corners felt mint, and then after that, we had a bit of contact with Brad, which just, yeah, I couldn't turn the car, so I had to retire from the race. We tried to get it fixed, but yeah, we had to retire from it.
Yeah. Such a shame for that one, but it's all mended now. It's all happy.
Yeah, it's all fixed now. Look. The boys have done a great job on it, so yeah, now we start from the back of the grid. I want it to really, really rain, to be honest, spice it up a bit so I can come through, but yeah, we'll see how we get on.
It's trying now, isn't it? There's a little bit of spit in the air, isn't it? But yeah, what do you think you can do in that one if it's all ready? Is the pace good?
Well, I've been looking at what Jack's, and Jack was quite strong all the way through the race, so yeah, I don't see why we can't come through and get in the top 5, top 6.
Yeah, that's what we want to see. Jack, for yourself, P3 in that last one as well, so good result. Are you sharing any intel with him? Help out your teammate, man. What are you doing?
I mean, we share. We're a pretty good team.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult one for me. Personally, I think we need a little bit more out of the car. But Rob and I put our heads together, and we think we've come up with something that's going to work, and hopefully I can come through too.
That's the main thing, isn't it? And like you say, you two, I think we've not really seen you two on track at the same, like pushing each other along.
Together yet, either.
You've not.
Well, I mean, we were P3 and P4 at Silverstone.
I know no killer was, but I got track limits.
Yeah.
Technically, we were, but we weren't.
Rookie error. Rookie.
Well, you boys, honestly, you two work together quite well, I think. But I think a plan that we had is that one of the weekends we were going to do a Mr. and Mrs. I think now is a good time to actually do this now. Do you reckon?
We rehearsed for this, haven't we?
A little bit, yeah.
I got to think of a question though. Paul, a Mr. and Mrs. We need a question. What questions?
Mr. and Mrs.
Mr.
Oh,
and,
don't put your mouth full, mate. Come on.
Is that a programme? I've not heard of it.
yeah, basically, yeah.
Oh,
I
get you.
Yeah. Go on. So, a question. So, who's worse out of what?
Who's got the most understeer in the car?
I'd say me.
Both of them. Anything else?
We'd have to speak to their engineer about that.
Both in it, we're both
Yeah.
Both understeering. What about?
We've got the same setup.
I've got
so-
one. Who's got the most? Who's got the most girlfriends?
No, you got a fiance, haven't you?
Yeah, I will be.
I'll take one for the team, though. I'll take one for the team.
Behave then.
Hey, he's gone well red. Look at his face. Hey, I know what he's like.
I've been stitched up so many times on this live stream for people saying things about me, and I'm not walking into it today, mate.
I will be honest. He has never once been bad to me. You and him. He just smashed me with a cornetto. And so your mechanics are lovely as well because they've just helped me out and give me a microfiber cloth to wipe my face.
Look at that.
Yeah, see, we're nice on this side of the garage,
Yeah.
but you come over there, we're sound as a pound.
But that
Go
Joe
on this
Marshall.
side, evil.
Remember at Knockhill, you got that roller thing, and I soaked you in water. It's fair dues, isn't it?
Do you know what? I actually did. I smacked him in the crackers with a roller, so that was nice.
Basically, we're
You
horrible.
violated me with a mic last year as well.
Okay, right. Let's go to the next garage. Cheers, boys. Cheers. We'll
Anyway.
move swiftly on. Honestly,
Anyway.
we can't leave those two alone for a brief second, can we? Right, who's next? Who's next?
Let me just say, I want to say a quick hello. I've got some friends watching. Emma, Pops and Aves. Hope you're having a good day. Some good friends of mine, so
excellent.
keep watching. I'm not going to do anything horrible to Bradders because he's sound, so let's both have a chat
Go
with
on,
him.
go on.
Let's get him in the... you'll get you in the middle. Who should we ask? Who should ask a question first? It's going to be me. What the HELL happened at turn 1, please?
I think everyone's just getting a little bit out of control.
Can we just go back and talk about what? So there was Bruce Winfield involved, yourself, and there was another car as well. To remind me,
Smiley made a great move on me, to be totally honest. I opened the door up, which I saw him coming from a mile back. He got a run on me out of the chicane. And he was coming from a mile back. I was trying to plan on going nice and wide, staying out wide and getting a run all the way down the hill. But I just got completely collected. I think Bruce just completely outbroke himself, drove straight through the side of me, but then it just, I think you said it even on the stream, bent the rear toe link, so that was done and the race was over.
Because you actually went in so wide, I honestly thought that you'd had a problem down the straight, but because of the amount of speed that the car took on the inside and hit you with, that's what confused me. But like you say, but why isn't it? It's been looked at, but it's done. What was their excuse? I don't understand.
I don't know, to be totally honest with you. We went up and saw the clerk. He told us to leave. Well, he saw what he needed to see from us, so we left the room and we left it with them. I don't know if anything's happened or I don't know, Paul, to be totally honest with you.
And that is probably the best thing to say, is not to say too much.
Yeah,
AJ?
exactly. I mean, these sort of situations, they do happen now and then, but like you say, you've got the next race coming up, you've got challenge for that. The boys have done a brilliant job and they're still working on it now. Obviously, you've got to have a new window going in.
Look at his dad's
Yeah,
face, look at Warren's face.
The window got smashed to pieces.
Yeah.
Obviously, where I've gone in sideways into the gravel, I kept my foot flat to pull it back round straight. It's just flicked the gravel up and it's just smashed the whole window.
Move that.
Yeah. So we've got a new window. I think it's a bit of perspex in there as well now, so that one won't smash, hopefully. But they do an amazing job always. I mean, this car's been put back together about 50 times this year already, so they always do great.
Brad, it's been such a... we all had high hopes for you, obviously. We know how fast you are.
So did I.
It's been one of the weirdest, horriblest. So every time there's something happening on track, it's you.
I know. I don't know if I'm putting myself in the position to be... like everyone keeps coming over and saying to me that I never ever seem to put myself in a position where I'm going to get trouble, and it just seems to happen to me every single time. I mean, when we were here in 2021, I was supposed to win the championship going down Craners, got caught up in something that fired me off, and it broke something in the rear again, which then I the championship was over for me in the last race of the season. It just seems to happen year after year after year. But I'm keeping my head up, and I'm hoping that we can get something sorted for next year. We're going to do something again and get a bit of luck on our side, I'd like to say.
Yeah. It's interesting, isn't it? Because, you know, when there's so much pressure going into the season, you generally would not have fast-forwarded and seen how much terrible luck. What is it like as a family-run organisation? You know, what are the pressures like? You know, when your dad and everyone, they're all mucking in now behind you. Do you just feel bad for them? Do you feel bad for yourself? What's it like mentally? You know, it's not easy being a race driver, full stop.
Not at all, and especially when you've got someone like my granddad that puts so much money into everything. I mean, he walks around the garage all weekend doing circles of how stressed he is. The boys, everyone in here is so close to us. And my dad, you can see my dad there now working on it. We got Phil in as an engineer this year. He came in and helped us. None of them have to do it, and they're all here working away. So a mental side of it is so hard, especially when something like that through turn one is completely out of your control and you're getting taken out. When you think, what am I actually doing to deserve that? Yeah, it's hard, really, really, especially when you're short for we do it off of such a small budget. We put everything together to try and do the racing. There's a lot of boys in here that have got a lot of backing behind them. It's so hard, but we always pull through. We always do, and we try and keep a smile on our face as well.
And it could be worse. We could be doing something that we don't love.
Exactly. Honestly, you do put in such an effort, and yeah, it is great to have you in this paddock and on this grid, mate. But yeah, I do hope it comes together.
I hope so. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed for you too, mate. Have a good one, and see you out there in race 2. Yeah, like you say, for Brad, it's just been. I mean, what can you say? You feel deflated for him, don't you?
Yeah, you do. And you know, the thing is, when you're driving these cars round and it's such a close contact sport, Bruce Winfield, thanks for turning that fan off. It's the only one I've got.
Yeah. I called that yesterday. I said that was his biggest fan.
Oh, that's nice. What, his biggest fan?
Yeah, it's his biggest fan.
I was going to say, I ain't got any. Bruce, chat to us, fella. Oh, you got called up to the clerk. We were just talking about that going down the pit lane. You just looked like you were in the wrong place at the wrong time. A lot of stuff that went on. But it did also look that it might have been an unsighted turn-in from another driver that caused contact. I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, I don't know. Let's scoot over that, shall we? Talk about something else, maybe.
Okay, that is a good answer.
I don't want to get into he did that, you know, I did. So, yeah.
Just to clarify, he has not said anything bad about you, by the way, mate. So I'm not going to start any rift.
Yeah,
but it's close quarters racing. You need to be up the front.
Yeah, exactly. You know, unfortunately, we had a bit of contact, and yeah, obviously Brad ended up coming out of it, you know, worse. Which obviously I'm not there to do that. You know, I like to think I'm a clean driver, and yeah, at the end of the day, like I went over to see him after the race, and I got told to leave. So yeah, it's unfortunate. Obviously not intentional, and you know, I went for a gap, and we had a bit of contact. So yeah, I feel for Brad. You know, he didn't finish the race, and you know, he's had a lot of bad luck. But you know, for me, I'm trying to win a championship. You know, obviously as many of us are. So you know, you go for a gap, and yeah, unfortunately we had a bit of contact. So yeah.
This championship fight just seems to be getting harder and harder for you, but that just shows your character. You know, you're really coming out on track as well. You're really showing what you've got to deliver, and you know, it's not an easy fight to win, is it? Championships are not easy to win.
No, exactly. Yeah, and I think, like you mentioned as well, there was a couple of points on in the race that wrong place, wrong time. I think Jeff Alden at one point, you know, caused me to lose a place to Alex and stuff. So yeah, like you say, it's obviously not easy to win. There's some fast guys out there for sure. So yeah, for me, it's just do the best we can, try and stay out of trouble, try and finish races and finish them as hard up the grid as we can.
Is it harder, or is it better and easier to have fast teammates with you to help you out, or is it a problem? Because I'm going to be honest here, Carl Boardley has obviously got Jensen Brickley, who's kind of a teammate. They run under the same awning, but he has more run-ins with his teammates, and that's not anything against Jensen, but they do seem to, you know, bang into each other a bit between the both of them.
Yeah.
That's not something that you wouldn't want when you're trying to battle for a championship, and then you've got Alex all over you and all sorts of other stuff going on. I know Alex is your teammate, but you've got other teammates that are with you because they're quick, aren't they?
Yeah, it's good that we're all fast, you know, we can share data and stuff like that, which obviously always helps. But at the end of the day, when we're on track together, we're all still fighting to be at the points at the end of the championship at the end of the year. So it's not like any of us are going to give the next man an easy overtake or whatever. So yeah, I don't think at the moment it's a massive benefit having everybody fast. The only difference is, like with me and Alex there was potentially a move on and I backed out of it, and yeah, you'd probably send it a bit more on somebody else than you would on your own teammate. So yeah, I don't know if it's a benefit or not, to be honest.
Yeah, are you just on that note with the championship? I know you're a racer, mate, so I know the answer to this probably. But is there any inkling to you that this is just all over, or?
Absolutely not. No.
Like it. I absolutely love it.
I'm not here to finish P2, P3, to be honest. So the plan was this year to come and obviously try and win the championship. So if I thought it was all over and it was not going to happen, then I wouldn't be doing the rest of the season. Simple as that. Brands Hatch, for anybody that's watching that is not aware, you can't drop results from Brands Hatch. So as long as we're within a shout at Brands, going into Brands, who knows, anything can happen at Brands. So yeah, like I say, we just got to finish races as hard the grid as we can, and try and stay out of trouble, try and stop getting penalties.
Yeah. Mate, honestly, looking forward to seeing what you can do on that one, because it is a tough fight, like you were saying, but I reckon it will happen, it will come your way, and keep that smile on your face, mate.
I'm trying. Thank you very much.
Mate, doing brilliant.
Top man, Brucey.
Yeah, very good.
I wasn't being horrible then, by the way, just for everybody watching. Me and Anthony are journos. We have to ask difficult questions. Difficult questions are coming to this man, Alex Lee. That suntan's coming. Have you been Ibiza yet?
No, next week. I was in Lanzarote, family holiday.
Lock up your grandmas, or?
Yeah.
Is that one of your tough journalistic questions there, Paul?
Sorry, yeah. I've got nothing tough to ask Alex, because look at him. He just loves life, full stop. He doesn't really care. I love it. I think it's fantastic. All he wants to do is win races, and that's a proper racing driver. Talk to us about that last race, because that looked a bit too much hard work. You shouldn't have really been fighting where you were. You're faster than that, aren't you?
Yeah, I think it was disappointing qualifying. We just couldn't quite get the set up ready with the new tyres. In testing was always fast with older tyres, so we just for Brands, we're looking forward. We just need to work on some new tyre runs to get a good quality set up, because just once you start at the front, it's a lot easier to stay there than if you start at the back and drive through.
And what I was going to ask you, actually, Alex, it's a great thing you've just told us. When you are, when you don't have a lot of tyres to use over a race weekend, when you put new on, did you expect the car to do something different than what it's been doing in testing? And has it just had too much rear end and it's been all over the place?
Yeah, it had a lot of when we went new tyres, it's like the front tyres had so much grip, the rear just couldn't really keep up. So it was. Yeah, I think we just need to practice a few more new tyre runs at Brands. I should have 0 kg because of a disappointing qualifying yesterday, so that should help as well. But you can't drop scores at Brands Hatch, so we need to just get as many wins as we can, really.
A bit like last year, that's how you were trying to finish the year off.
Yeah.
Because it was good last year at the end, wasn't it? You were really coming out of your shell, and we were hoping that trend would continue into this year, and it's been a fight for you, but certainly the pace is there and the car's quick, and you know what you need to do as well.
Yeah, the car's good. Once we've got it right, we've shown some really good pace. So yeah, no, the first race was good today, 16th to 5th or 6th, I think, so good points still. So see what I can do in this next race.
Exactly, reverse grid is always your best friend in that one, even though if you're in the middle of it, it doesn't really help you out.
No, not.
But still, good spot for you, mate, and certainly looking forward to seeing what you can do.
Thank you very much.
Yes,
cheers, Captain. Have a good one.
Enjoy that.
That's interesting. Yeah, we'll speak to Luke Sargent, who's here, and Alistair Camp looks like he's spannering for him. You don't even look like a racing driver. First of all, Alistair Camp, probably the star of the day, I'd say, up to now, running with a +10. Second delay at the start because of something that was it an overboost in quali?
Yeah, overboost in quali. We had to put a new turbo on quali. Fastest side on the grid is.
Fastest you've ever seen.
Literally saying, well, we had 9 minutes left of quali, so it was like just bonnet down and do 9 minutes of quali, and yeah, we did all right. But then when we looked at the data, it was limiting the throttle, so for what we'd actually gained wasn't massive, which was worrying, because I was thinking, well, if it's overboost, am I going to be on the pace today? but everyone was saying because it's limiting the throttle to 20%, you've not actually gained masses. You've probably gained a little bit to get there, but because it's such a flowing circuit, you've not gained as much as I would if it was like at Knockhill or Brands, somewhere like that.
And just ask for the viewers at home that might not know, an overboost is the turbo over-boosting. It's regulated, isn't it? But just explain that, because some people at home might not understand that. Basically, I don't understand it.
Yeah, so like that with the mic straight up. Yeah, so we changed the turbo from an old one, and where the actuator positioned, obviously because the old one's worn, then we put the new part on. We've left the actuator where it was. Well, we should have backed it off, because as the turbo wears, you wind it on a bit more, wind it on to get the wastegate open more. And yeah, so basically we've bolted the new turbo on, same position, everything. And then also there's a plug the wrong way around, which didn't help the scenario, but as it's come off is how it's gone on, which is what we can't get our head round. So it's just weird. Maybe the turbo's always not been as good as it needs to be. So the change is what we've needed, and that's what we've done.
But going back to the drive, mate, I've got to say it was one of the best I've seen, and fair play. I know the safety car helped out, but you still had to overtake people. It was pretty good. And where you're starting now, you've got to be thinking podium. Got to be.
Yeah, of course. It's like Snet all over again, isn't it? Start last time we had a pole at Snet, but obviously again, I didn't have any seat time in the car, whereas now I've had a bit of seat time, so yeah, feeling confident for it. But yeah, hey, what do you call a potato everyone knows?
Potato everybody knows. Is this all right to say on the...
A commentator. Sure, innit?
Oh, wow.
Dad jokes.
He's got a proper Bombay potato head, hasn't he?
Yeah. He's worked hard on that. He's worked hard on that. Luke Sargent, yourself, you have an arch nemesis, and that is that tyre stack at the final chicane, isn't it?
Yeah, it was hard. I was catching Matt and Scott, and I was faster than them on the first corner, through Craners, the old hairpin, but every little straight there was, I just pulled away. And then went through McLean's, caught them, Coppice caught them, a little bit away, and I was trying to basically, they were getting away, I was trying to sort of break and get the space and get the run onto the back straight, and Matt went earlier than I thought he would, and I just couldn't see it, and as soon as I hit it, I heard a bang.
Yeah.
And I was like, is it straight? And we went on the back straight, you see, we went down, and I sort of pressed the brakes, the tyre went, but it was annoying because we were going really well. It was a really good drive. I was comfortable. I was happy with the car for once.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we can do from, I think I'm 18th.
Well,
so that's what we can do race too. But
still should be doable.
The car's fine though. But literally, it was only minor. The suspension, everything was perfect. It was just literally, it did the tyre and the bonnet, the wing and the bumper. That was it.
I think the biggest thing for you is that it went fully when you passed the pit lane entrance, and you had to do the whole
I heard
lap.
it bang, and I thought I'd done the bottom arm, whatever it was, and I was like, okay. But it didn't feel too bad. It was a bit of a vibration, but I was like, okay, it's not too bad. And then as soon as we got on the brakes, and the tyre obviously just went.
Yeah.
And I locked up, and I didn't know if it was the wheels flapping around. So I crabbed it round, trying to stay out of everybody, which was interesting. But yeah.
Still.
Thanks, my fan clubs. My fan clubs in the background.
It's really lucky the camera didn't pan around any sooner than what it did. Because what they were doing
the
there.
one with the big muscles that's trying to highlight it with his reds. He lifts all the time, you know. He gives the swans, swans?
Yeah. I don't think that band could be any tighter. I think he's trying a bit too hard there, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's doing better than me. He's doing better than me with my pigeon
I'm
arms.
fat, so.
Yeah, no, exactly. But mate, honestly, looking forward to seeing what you can do in race 2. But yeah, it's going to be a good one. Take the microphone off him. Give us that back. Cheers, Luke.
Cheers,
Thank you
Luke.
so much.
See you in a bit.
Right.
Who's he think he is with my microphone?
I know. Well, you gave it to him.
My two favourite ever people in the TCR paddock, Darryl Wilson, Jeff Alden. These are my absolute faves. First of all, Anthony,
Go on, I'll do the same. Right, okay, firstly, thank you for wearing flip-flops and not socks. You're the only driver in this paddock
that is a £500 fine in the pit lane. Yeah,
Is it £500 fine?
I'm joking, it's not. Look at him, he doesn't know the rules, I'm kidding, but you don't want to be doing that. Look at these leaf blowers, by the way. Can we just start with them? Do they work?
They do, yeah. If you want a nice cool down moment,
Turbo.
then let's do that.
Blow your hair off, you ain't got any.
I definitely haven't got any.
Let's not joke about hair.
Boys, yeah, indeed. Right, you with the Astras here. It's good to see two Astras. One's an Opel, one's a Vauxhall, but still, you guys have been... They've been fun to watch when we've seen you out there if it's not overheating.
Yeah, that are a good car. We're struggling with a bit of a pace because it's a Gen 1 car. Everybody knows the Gen 1 cars are slower, but I think we're getting the best out of them. I went 9/10 faster than I've ever been around here, so I know I am on the limit, but just trying to find that extra 9/10 I need to run up with them. I came off, I had a bit of an accident in turn 1. It got overcrowded and I got bumped off into the gravel, but we got it started again, and then yeah, the pace was there, but we were just too far back to catch them back up. You look at the lap times, my race pace, I was quicker in my race pace than I was in qualifying. Yeah. So I know I'm getting the best out of the car, but it's just I'm on the back foot really.
Yeah. Well, like you say, if you can get that turn 1 sorted out, dialed in, because then obviously, yeah, with all the traffic in there, it's a nightmare, isn't it? When you've got 3-4 cars going in for the same part of the turn, it can be a nightmare. Yeah, like I say, because the car ain't got the pace, so we're always back on the back foot in qualifying. So really, if I have a good qualifying and I get up there, I'll be okay. But yeah, it's hard work. Yeah, it's hard work, really. I'm just thankful for all my sponsors. I got Kevin Shaw and I got a local sponsor me. Like, yeah, I wouldn't be able to do without them, telling the truth. Jeff, how's it feel like, you know, teaching everything that you know to Daryl? Because you've taught him a lot, haven't you, this weekend?
I've only taught him the things he doesn't really want to know.
Which is?
I'm not going to go divulge that on camera.
Jeff, tell us right now.
No, I can't. I'm afraid I can't, Paul. I'd have to divulge things like Ibiza, which I can't really...
Okay, well, I'll tell everyone. Right, look at his face. I'm only kidding. But just first, can I just say, Daryl, can we have a look at this? That is the best band I have ever seen. Look, it's got your number on and everything.
Yeah. I wonder where my 10mm spanner went.
yeah, expensive one, isn't it? and I was a father present for my kids, so yeah.
Oh, mate. Yeah. How old are you?
34.
I just always thought you were like 28.
Nah,
I was like,
I'm an old guy, really.
No way.
I look good, don't I?
Anyway, talking about youngsters, Jeff, let's have a little chat. So yeah, you've had a baptism of fire. But you've finished.
No, it's been
what's
fine.
it like? What's it actually like to get in a TCR car that's, you know, it's been on a podium, this car. These are good cars, aren't they?
No, to be honest, it was, you know, this second half of the year was the plan to come and do the last 3 rounds, just get used to it. Yeah, last round was great. We finished, and then we've come here. We finished again. We had a bit of an overheating problem, so I had to kind of short shift for most of the race to kind of keep the temperature down. But we seem to solve that now. So hopefully go a bit quicker in the next one now.
Yeah, and that's what it's about, though, isn't it? Because what people don't realise, you know, Generation 1 and Generation 2 cars. Can you just tell us, you know, what is the difference, like just in layman's terms, for people watching at home, a Generation 1 car and a Generation 2 car?
I wouldn't know what a Generation 2 car looks like, or even goes like.
You've seen a few pass yet?
Yeah, a few went past, and I just tried to get out of the way without slowing them down too much. But compared to like the Civic that I've been driving all year, it's a complete day and night, and it's a great car to drive. Yeah, it's quick, and you know, you've got to get used to that, and you've got to, you know, be strong in yourself to try and go quicker. But it's a learning curve. You know, whether you're 34 and young like Daryl, or
with 16 kids,
55 and trying to be young. So it's still about, you know, pushing yourself to be the best you can, really, and enjoy it. And that's the most thing, is enjoy it. And I'm loving it. It's great fun. You know, my smile is getting bigger. My partner said after the race, he said, "You're smiling." And I'm like, "Yeah, it was brilliant. Okay, we were a bit slow, but so what? Next time we'll be a bit quicker."
And that is the best thing to hear, because as drivers and people who watch racing and have a job in racing, we're very lucky, aren't we? There's not many people who get to race these cars, is there?
It is. It's, you know, to get out there and race with the best, you know, best in the country, you know, top guys in the world, is amazing. And yeah, I just keep smiling every day and keep looking at it going, what's next?
I'll tell you what's next, mate. I think there's highlights coming up in a second that we're going to show, but it's starting to rain.
We're praying for rain.
Yeah, I hope it does rain, because they're actually so quick in the wet.
Yeah,
because
we both like the rain.
The BMAC is so much better in the wet. Look, we got a tire ready. Good tire ready. So
these two are well dangerous, aren't they, mate? But I'm going to let you lead on now because of this.
Are you going to do the rain dance for us?
Paul, I thought...
Is that going to get us some thunderstorms?
No, I think you've been doing too much in Ibiza, that's all I'll say.
Can I just share a thing? I just proper pulled me Achilles, mate. Just done me Achilles.
I thought you were going to polish the car with that rag in your back pocket as well, see, so...
I still got that rag in me.
Yeah,
Do you know
so
what
if
happened
you want
there?
to just give it a little bit of
a look him up.
I can't go in there because we'll lose camera signal.
Hey, I tell you what, your rain dance has worked. It's currently raining. Boys, You're in luck. You're in luck.
Thanks, Bull.
Have a good one.
Take care. See you in a bit, boys.
Cheers, boys. Oh, well, that was a fail. That was a fail on that one. There you go. I'm terrible at handshakes, mate. But anyway, mate, this is going to be a good one. Looking forward to it. You heard from a lot of drivers there about what happened in race 1. Why don't we show you? Let's take you through some of the highlights from round 12 of the TCR UK Championship.
Red lights go on then. The first of 2 races at Donington Park bursts into life. It's a good start made by Adam Shepherd from the outside of row 1. And I think he might draw level with Brickley on the run down towards the first turn. The second phase of Brickley's start isn't bad though. And they're almost level as they turn into the right-hander. Brickley on the inside and Shepherd trying to hang tough around the outside. Away go Hutchison and Camp from the back of the field. But they're still side by side. Banging doors once, twice down the hill.
Round the outside. Brickley's going to hang it out, is he? Shepherd will not have any of this. But Brickley back down the inside for a little bit. They both break and they lock. Right fronts up. Has he ran wide at the lead? He has, hasn't he? But look at that. Shepherd's trying to get round the outside. He's got the lead, I reckon.
Darryl Wilson in the gravel at Redgate corner. That might lead to a safety car, but it's side by side and Shepherd goes through just before the safety car is scrambled. I think he got that move made just in time.
Oh.
Contact was there for Jack Constable from Bradley Kent. And on the inside goes Joe Marshall. Some drivers, I think, have seen the safety car balls and others, like Bradley Kent, have not.
Oh, Joe Marshall in the pits. He's gone.
Who needs some good results. Jensen Brickley, as you said, has absolutely nailed the restart. Caught Shepherd on the hop and went earlier, I think, than the area motorsport driver was expecting. And he, once they crossed the timing line and overtaking is allowed again, will be watching his mirrors more than he's focusing out in front.
Looking third, though. Constable's flat out flashing his Adam Shepherd with that rear brake locking. What's going on with Kent?
Oh, Chris Smiley on the inside of Winfield into the side of him. No, Bruce Winfield into the side of Bradley Kent, who's deposited into the gravel trap at Redgate corner. And that was some more unnecessary contact, I fear. Bradley Kent digs himself back into the fray. Is there damage to the Veloster?
Yes.
Up the inside line, down the exhibition straight. He was briefly there. The meet in an area motorsport sandwich. He wants to get himself out of this situation if he can. Bit of paint traded, maybe under braking, but Wardley is through.
Making forward progress. Adam Shepherd, a 109.102.
Wow.
Fastest lap, but he's still a second off.
For 108.9. That's an astonishingly good lap time. And that, of course, is worth a bonus point in the championship as well. He dives to the inside at Redgate corner. And unless Chris can get the switch back on the exit, which he can't, that is now 5th place for the championship leader. Can he make more progress there? Because they're only about a second or so behind Callum Newsham. There is Oliver Cotton behind him, that battle that I just mentioned.
Is that a delamination of the tyre?
Oh, no.
It is.
Oh,
wow.
it is.
Wow, that's a warning to everybody. That's a warning to everybody. Front left delamination.
Now, here comes Brad Hutchison. He is into 9th place now because he had his nose ahead of Scott Sutton at the line. He gets his whole car ahead by the time they get into Redgate corner. So much confidence under braking. Alex Lee gets a much better exit from the old hairpin and draws level with his teammate. This was not in the plan for Bruce Winfield. Lee sweeps around the outside, and I think that's job done. Sargent clobbers the curb through the chicane. Didn't really help his exit speed. Jinx out of line. He's not damaged something, has he?
That's interesting. I think he's getting an alarm for the heat. I think. Oh no, he has got a front right punch here, is he?
Yeah, I think he clipped the tyres. You know, at the chicane, he really took too much of that inside curb.
Side by side on the grass. Matthew Wilson. Is this going to be job done? No. Sumton says no, thanks, mate. Wilson on the dust and the grass.
Alex Lee has just fired up the inside of Chris Smiley. There he is. He's gone through. Smiley runs wide and out the inside comes Bruce Winfield. Bruce Winfield reads the situation perfectly. Bits of Hyundai go flying, but he's gained 2 places. Disappointingly, there's only a minute of this race left. Someone go and steal the checkered flag, please, because this has been a fantastic race. Carl Wardley has caught Jack Constable as we start the final lap. Alex Lee here looking to get to the inside of Chris Smiley for a second time at Redgate. That doesn't quite work, but what is going to happen on the exit of the corner? Alex looking for that switchback manoeuvre, tries to get the overlap, and he might have done it. The question is, where does the championship leader end up at the end of all of this? Because he could well make it onto the podium after all. Brickley out in the final corner, flashes the headlights. It's another race victory for the sensational youngster, standout driver, new driver of the season, definitely. Brickley is a winner once again in TCR UK here at Donington Park. Who will be third? It's just about Jack Constable. Carl Wardley with another lap or so could have made it to the podium. We'll have to settle for
AJ.
Excellent there. Nice to see Lewis back in this. Brad, well, you had, a fairly calm start to your race. What was it like? Okay, a driver, you've been put to the back of the grid. While you're at the back of the grid, you then get told, right, you've got to stay there for another 10 seconds before then you can start moving. What is that like?
Yeah, I was trying to count it in my head, but I think I got to about 5, you know, in real seconds, and I was already at 10. I was thinking, God, it's taken a while. But no, it was annoying, but thankfully Darryl did me a solid and put out safety car in lap 1. So the 10 seconds was done after that, you know, and then it was just a case of picking them off one by one.
Yeah. Cheers, Darryl. Thank you for the safety car.
For the safety car, mate. Cheers, mate.
You lot owe me big time.
It worked out nicely though for you, but you know, still you're enjoying the Gen 2, aren't you?
Yeah, I think the difference is obviously if we was in the Audi, coming from the back of the grid, it'd be a bit more of a struggle. You have to be a lot more sort of clinical and think about things in that thing, you know. By the time you've thought about the next corner or where the car's going to be, you're already past them, and it was just a breeze. You know, the power on the straights, the actual ability to rotate the car under people is unbelievable. And like I said, obviously in the Audi, it's three corners ahead, and you're thinking, right, they're going to be there, they're going to be there. So if I go here, and then by the time you thought about it in that car, you're already past them. So it was almost effortless just to get to the front half of the grid, but. Yeah, it's worked out well.
Is it going to be AJ? Is it going to be difficult if it does rain?
Well, I'll tell you after the race. I don't know, to be honest. I mean, the car out of the box is fantastic. Like I said, we don't actually have a setup in the car at the moment. It's just from Cooper or whatever the book says we've got in it. So hopefully we'll just do the same for what it says if it's wet, and we'll see how it goes. I think you'd need a week's testing just to be able to sort of get to grips with what you can change on the car. But yeah, in terms of wet weather, I mean, I love the rain. I absolutely, part of me wanted it to rain, but then I've never driven the car in the wet, so we'll see what happens.
It's going to be
talking to him.
I was going to say, yeah. How tall are you, by the way?
I'm 6'4", 6'5", something like that. 6'4.5".
And is this car a lot easier to get into because they have the seats more in the middle, don't they? Because the Gen 1 will be more to the door.
You step more in it than the. It's getting out's a bit harder, I'll be honest, especially when it's in the air as well. It's like, but yeah, no, it's all right. It's not a bad problem to have.
Yeah. So we're looking forward to the second race, wet or dry, whatever. If it's a good car, you shouldn't really need to, and your dad will be better explaining, you shouldn't really need to change it to a wet setup. The car, especially with this track, should be like a dry line car.
Yeah, the car on its own's already pretty good out of the box, so we'll go from there. And obviously we've got Hull and Bondit here today, the MD and everyone. So yeah, got to get some silverware, I think, and yeah.
And the very last question before I give AJ a chance to chat is, what I want to know is, will it be the hardest decision ever when you get to the last round?
I know where you're going with this.
And I nearly said something really derogatory about the Audi, but I won't, because you heroed it round at Alton.
No, it's no secret, is it, that the Audi's not the quickest car on the grid. But there's no complaints from me. At the end of the day, I'm in such a fortunate position to have the option to race one touring car, let alone two. So there's no part of me that will ever complain about racing an Audi touring car. You know, even despite it not being as fast as that one, it's still so sick, isn't it? It's still an Audi. It's still a fast car. So yeah, there'll be no complaints from me either way. Just getting to race is good enough.
Certainly so, but one thing, I won't ask the question, I want you to ask it. Ask him what his favourite cheese is.
What's your favourite cheese?
Oh, we had this discussion yesterday. He asked me like Baby Bell or
Swiss cheese.
Swiss cheese, yeah, and I'll save you the rant. Essentially, I don't have a favourite out of them two, but if you're going on about a Cornish yard, you find a nice farm shop, I'm all about that. Again, shout out to halloumi, it goes well on burgers.
Hey, do you know, if someone asked me what my favourite cheese was, I'd say melted.
Yeah, it's classic, and it goes with everything as well. It's like, you know, just have it on everything. So yeah.
Love it. Glad I asked that.
Have we got an advert? What are we doing now?
I don't know.
He's proper thrown me in. Imagine if it went to a Camembert advert.
That's brilliant. Cheers, Brad. Thank you very much.
Brad.
Enjoy that one. Let's turn our attention to this man here. Got to bump into me. Oliver Carm on this one. Paul, oh, jeez. Right.
I don't have a personal mic holder this time like you did to Brad.
Yeah, no, exactly. You and Paul have done a lot of work in the background on this things, but race one there, bit of a challenge, mate. What happened?
I think it's just unfortunate we had a tyre issue with the car. It could be curves, debris. There was a lot of gravel on the track from the start.
Yeah.
Could be anything. We're not completely sure at the moment, so we're just going to look into it and see what Goodyear says about it. So yeah.
Yeah. One thing I never like to say to a driver is that you've been consistently
Bad luck.
Consistent bad luck. Yeah, that's a better word than what I was going to say.
Yeah.
But yeah, mate, honestly, from your how's it felt? I mean, how are you feeling?
So my whole plan was to get reverse grid front roll. There's no hiding that.
No.
I was driving like Miss Daisy out there. I saw them battling behind, and they were battling in front. So I was like, oh, let's stay off the curve, relax, and just finish the race. Obviously, that didn't go to plan. So I didn't really feel anything until I came in the pits because adrenaline's going on. You're going down the back straight, there's a chicane, and there's a wall right at the end of it, as you guys probably know. So when you brake and with no tyre, it's a bit scary. So I chose a shortcut and went straight across the gravel.
It's a solid plan. It worked out. You got back into the pit lane, and the team, they were straight on it, weren't they? They got brand new tyre on it straight away, and you were out there, no drama.
Yeah, I think thanks to the live stream, they knew what happened before I came in the pits, so they were ready and prepared.
Yeah, that was lucky then for you. But for yourself, as soon as it happened, the damage that you caused to the car there, now, how much did it actually affect you?
It's damaged the front bumper, ripped the wing off, wheel arch, headlight, it's done most of the corner, bodywork damage, and all the brake ducting is ripped out as well.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate.
But
it's all carbon as well, so...
Oh, God, no. But the main thing is, mechanically, it was okay, it was just cosmetics.
Yeah, mainly cosmetics. I went back out there, you guys probably saw. They were battling, so I let them all pass down the straight.
Yeah.
Stay out of the way. I was just watching a good view of Alex Lee and Chris Marley having a battle.
Yeah.
Which is quite good.
Yeah, I can imagine it is. You had a front row seat to that, didn't you?
Yeah.
But with race 2 coming up, I mean, what are your plans for it? Because, I mean, you know what you need to do, I think.
I'm kind of praying it to rain.
Huh?
I'm praying to rain.
Well, you're not the only person who's wanting it to rain. There's many drivers out there wanting to. It is, again, it's trying.
I can play a gamble here.
Okay.
At the back.
What's the gap?
Well, if it rains after the race, I don't mind pitting because I'm already at the back. I'm not losing any time. And if there's a safety car, I'm in luck, aren't I? So it's a gamble that we can take because we're starting from the back, so which is good. But I think the plan is stay clean, almost just keep the car clean, less damage. We've already got quite a bit of damage this weekend, and see what happens.
Yeah.
You guys saw last race was absolute, not carnage, but really entertaining. So just see what happens.
Yeah, Brands Hatch Indy is the final rounds of the championship. Are you looking forward to that one? Because Brands, that's a driver's circuit, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a driver's circuit, but I don't think the Audi will be the best round there, as we can't use our legs down the straight. It's not really a straight there at all.
So what you need to do is make it so it's good in the corners.
Yeah, that says easier than said, isn't it? But I think we'll see what happens. I possibly won't be carrying any ballast or weight, so I think it would be a Hyundai track and Cupra's. So similar to this track, it's a very Hyundai track and Cupra. I think we should try and keep up and see reverse grid again.
Yeah, exactly. For the viewers at home, you know, TCR UK, it's certainly grown in its years. For the people watching, would you recommend them coming to a race weekend? Because here at Donny, it's such a good atmosphere, isn't it?
Yeah, we've got loads of fans. We've got the Junior Series. The Mazdas are good racing. They absolutely slipstream. Juniors are good racing, and the tickets are very cheap for an event this big.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is really good.
And as a driver who's come through those junior categories as well, you know exactly what those junior races are like.
Yes, they are hard racing, clean, and loads of slipstream because they're not very quick and straight, they're limited. So it's all about the driver, I think, in junior racing, keeping the speed up, and I think that what makes the racing good in Mazdas and juniors.
I tell you who else is good at slipstreaming? Paul O'Neill with that hairdo.
But you have gone back for that.
I am the slip. No, I've not. I'm not even going to do that. To be honest, mate, I have no comeback now. Anyway, I think we're going to watch a proper driver do a lap of this circuit.
That's
and it's not me.
Who's that?
Scott Sumpton.
Oh,
yeah.
With 40 kg on board, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
He's got a good point, actually.
He has got a good point.
Are we going to watch that?
We are going to watch it, yeah. Scott Sumpton, he gave us permission to use his onboard lap. We took him around a lap here at Donington Park. Well, here at Donington Park, I'm with Scott Sumpton from Restart Racing, who you've had a relatively decent weekend so far here at Donington Park. You've blessed us with an onboard lap here. But firstly, Scott, before we go over that, the Honda Civics this season have been a bit of hard work for you and the team, but it seems to be coming together. Silverstone wasn't too bad.
Yeah, for me, it's been a massive change coming from the Hyundai last year into the Honda Civic FK7 this year. But yeah, I think at Silverstone we really found our feet and yeah, can't complain. P3 in qualifying, had a good race one. Shame about race 2, but we still showed that we can battle hard and yeah, have some good racing.
Yeah, certainly so. And then here at Donington Park, slightly different format of racing than what we had at Silverstone in terms of the track's completely different. It's very downhill, undulating, fast sweeping. Silverstone was a very open and straight circuit. But do you want to talk us around a lap here?
Yeah, of course. So yeah, going across the start-finish line here and down into Redgate, going really fast. Just looking to brake at the end of the pit lane, hard on the brakes, down 2 gears. Make sure you get a late apex and try and stay off the green. I nibbled it a bit there. I know they're going to be harsh on track limits. Going down into Craners, keeping it flat, it's properly fast, and keeping it over to the left to open up Old Hairpin. Try and nibble as much of the green as possible. Again, trying to stay off that green, but you're carrying so much speed, it's really difficult. Coming up into McLean's, keeping it flat through the left, hard on the brakes, down 2, trying to open up couples more, much as possible. And then going up into Coppice, blind corner it is, so you're sort of guessing where the apex is, but trying to hit that as much as possible, opening up the wheel, trying to carry the speed and getting a nice exit onto the back straight. Going into last chicane, hard on the brakes, down 2 gears, trying to get as close to the barriers as possible, but not hitting them, and a nice smooth exit onto the straight.
Yeah, that is honestly, it looks like such a fast lap, doesn't it? And
yeah.
Yeah, on that lap that we're watching, the traffic that you had going into to turn 1 as well, super close, but certainly a very solid lap. Looking forward to what you can see doing in the race as well.
Yeah, cannot wait until the racing tomorrow. It should be really close. Qualifying was close, so yeah. Can't wait to racing tomorrow and getting the elbows out.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
People are probably wondering, and we have just found out literally in that break where you were watching Scott Sumpton go around, people are probably wondering, why are you outside Jensen Brickley's garage again? Well, there's been a bit of a change, hasn't there? There's been a change of a race winner, and that is Adam Shepherd wins race 1 from today, and that is because Jensen Brickley and Adam Shepherd have been swapped around.
They have.
So we're trying to get hold of him, aren't we?
We are, yeah. I can't see him, and I can imagine, yeah, well, hello.
You're right, you wanted me, I believe.
Oh, yeah. If you wouldn't mind, actually, Mark Hunt from JBR. Not great what's happened to you. I am assuming that Jensen is not happy.
No, he's frustrated, but the rules are the rules. You know, he slowed up slightly before the safety car board. Adam went past him. What was hard was when they went back down the back straight, Adam moved to the left because I don't think he really knew. So I think it was more of the team had seen it or someone. But it's racing, isn't it? It's a bit underhand, and we're just going to go and try and win race 2.
Is he quite content with that decision, or is? I mean, it was a late decision, that.
No, I think he's frustrated about it. But there's 2 things: you either put your stuff in the truck, go home and do TCR Europe or TCR Italy, but then you've lost the battle then, haven't you? So you stay and you fight, and the best thing to do is go and win the next race. And it's like, we know we won both. It's done on the road, really. And, you know, we're not, us personally, we don't do this year to win the championship. We started this with, you know, Jensen was a novice driver, done 1 season of senior racing. We did it to see where we are. We probably got quicker than we thought, earlier than we thought, and our plan was to come back and to win it next year. You know, we'll have to re-evaluate over the winter and see what we do, because, you know, I do find there's a lot of silly things that, you know, you put a lot of effort in, you just think, what for? You know, so, but no, you know, we're just, like I said, going to go and try and win the next race. That's the most important thing for us.
Do you think it's going to rain? Have you got any inkling of this coming down hard? It's spitting, but it's not going to do anything, is it? It's not going to do anything to the track with this track temperature. Just burn away.
No, I think it's too warm. I think you're correct there. So, you know, we know we've got a good wet setup. It's a quick change, and, you know, we're quite happy to go either or, really. You know, from where we're starting, if the rain, it probably help us a little bit because it sort of get through a bit quicker, but I think it will stay dry.
Sound. Listen, I know you've got stuff to do. You crack on, back on with the car. Thanks, Mark. Mark Hunt there from JBR, just talking to us about what's gone on with Jensen Brickley. Nice of him to come and chat, actually, because I've known Mark quite a long time, and you could tell by that interview he wanted to say more than he did, I think.
Yeah, you did get a inkling of that, didn't you? But, you know, it is what it is, and it seems harsh, the punishment, doesn't it, to lose a win, but effectively, you know, he does lose a few championship points from it, but he's still in contention with this one. You know, it's still very close in the championship. Boardley, he needs good results still. He got a relatively decent result in that one despite his qualifying. So, you know, a lot is still going to happen in this one. And I hope it goes down to the wire at Brands, but it could be settled here at Donington, but it's going to be very, very close.
Yeah, one of the things I'm just looking at, I'm not being rude on my phone, I just want to see what that was actually for. One place position penalty for car 246, which is Jensen Brickley. Now, because it was such a quick turnaround, I just assumed it was for contact, but by talking to Mark, it sounds like it was the safety car.
Yeah, now I did see that where Adam was in front, and he said he went wide or anything like that, and then Brickley went back through. Now, have they gone with saying he overtook under yellows?
That must be the case. We're only speculating.
We are only speculating.
So, but they must have looked at, for them to make that decision so late, they've obviously had to look at 2 onboards, maybe even 3 or 4 from the other cars to see if he had an overlap. If it is overtaking on a safety car, because I should have asked the question to Mark, but I thought it was for maybe contact side to side, which wasn't massively robust with Adam Shepherd, so it must be that overtake maybe on the safety car, but we'll see. It's a shame we can't speak to Adam Shepherd.
Yeah, he's a bit busy at the moment, understandably. The car came in and it was smothered in oil, wasn't it? The whole left side of the car, and if anything, that may have come to be because of the side-by-side contact at turn 1 with him and Brickley. That was the close racing that we love to see, but just that small knock, it affected this car so badly, didn't it?
Yeah, it's not so good, was it? I'm not too sure how much time we've got, but should we take a wander if we have got time?
I think we take a wander. If we can chat to Adam, I think that would be nice. I mean, obviously, if he is fully focused on making sure his car is ready, it's completely understandable if he doesn't want to talk, because he does a lot of hands-on work with the team, doesn't he?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, people don't understand how independent this championship can be, where, you know, you can have a team like Rob Boston Racing, who, you know, have got their team of, you know, engineers and mechanics working on the car, or it could be a team like Bradley Kent, where Bradley will get involved in helping and fix the car, and there's family teams up and down the pit lane, and there's some, let's say, this is not disrespectful, but professional teams that only take money from drivers, so the drivers can drive the car and not be involved in fixing the cars.
Yeah, well, here is Adam Shepherd's wagon, and to be fair, from when we were last here, when we were chatting to Luke, that's been put back together, so something tells me that they've got a fix.
Yeah, I'm hoping that is a fix, because that's either 2 things. That's either, let's just get it set down and take it away from the track. Adam Shepherd comes out. Thank you very much, mate. Are you back in business, mate?
I think so. I think, fingers crossed, it's okay. We found a crack in the catch tank from the contact with Jensen, that one. We don't know if it's only that or not. Well, time will tell. So,
and just congratulations, you're race 1 winner as well.
Yes, yeah.
Is that from a contact point of view, or was it safety car overtake?
Safety car. I didn't mention it because I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
I said to the team when I come in, I'm 85-90% sure he overtook me on the safety car. You don't want to win like that, but when you're leading, you can back people up. He was too fast to win outright on circuit if he was leading, but when you're ahead, who knows what's going to happen. I don't want to take the win like that, but I've had enough bad luck myself. It's
yeah, and I thought that would be the case. Me and Anthony, we actually didn't know. We were in a break watching Scott Sumton's lap, and when I come back, I looked at the results and you'd been changed, and I thought the contact wasn't massive, but it was enough, and I thought, oh, they must have looked at it again, but obviously they've looked at everybody's onboards, and there was an overlap then.
Yeah, it was more. So when we come out of Old Hairpin, I knew he was going to dive at the apex. I knew he was going to go to the apex at the Old Hairpin on the way in. So I took third. Normally it's a 4th gear corner. Took third and went for the exit. And I was probably 3/4 the way past him when the boards came out. And when we crossed past the boards, I was ahead. So that was that. And then when he come back past me, I was a bit confused, but I didn't want to overtake myself on circuit because I know that obviously normally you get excluded for that. So it's unfortunate for him because he was so fast. But at the end of the day, the rules are the rules, and that's the way it went.
Yeah. And just final question for me, let AJ take over. We were just talking about independent teams, family-run teams, professional teams.
Yeah.
You dress like this says to me you're actually working on that car, and you've done a bit.
Yeah, every time, all throughout testing, it was me and Dad running the car in tests all through Thursday testing. So I'm out the car, changing brake pads, bleeding brakes, and everything else. So it's hard work, but when you go and get good results, it's more rewarding, I think.
And it certainly is. And I mean, you're running still one of the Gen 1s out there, and you show that the Gen 1s still do have the pace and power that they need, because you're battling right there at the front.
Yeah, certainly. I don't want to sound like I'm making excuses. I think the Gen 2 cars are faster. I think everyone knows that. If you look at the results in Europe, they're dominating everywhere. But we're proud of what we're doing with what we've got. Like area motorsport in the Gen 1 Hyundai, we are consistently up there. Yes, we're struggling a bit now. The other teams are on top of the Gen 2 cars a bit more. For outright pace, we're struggling. But no, we're pleased.
Yeah, and it's like you've put in tooth and nail to that car, right to the limit where the fact that I can see you've repaired the bumper and it's cable tied on there. That, again, commitment. Cable ties, they're a mechanic's best friend.
They are the best thing in the world, aren't they, actually?
They are,
I mean, you spend all that money on aerospace fasteners, and then you've got a couple of cable ties. Looks lovely.
Yeah, well, the mount underneath's broken, so it's either a new wing and bumper or cable tie for now. So,
how much is a new wing and a bumper, just so people at home understand?
Quite a lot. I think the bumper's about 1,500 quid, and the wing's about 800 quid. It done the side seal as well, and the catch tank that got split is about 1,600 €. So
wow.
Just that bit of contact's best part of about £3,000 if you replaced it for new. Yeah. It doesn't look it, but for us, we're such a tight on budget. That's the last thing we want is to go and spend £3,000 on parts. So that won't be new for us. That's going to be cable tied up and fillered.
But the great thing is, and we'll leave you to it now, because we're going to go and speak to Matthew Wilson. Great thing is, TCR UK, if you do well, you win money.
Yes, yeah. To be honest, this weekend there's a lot of money on credit cards already. So the team are like, oh yeah, you've got to put new pads in it now with your prize money, but that's already paying off. Sorry to my wife, I'm not sure she knows how much is gone on cards, but yeah, it's that money's paying off what I already owe. It's not in the bank for spending more, so at the moment, Brands is almost a non-starter to make it unless we get some more sponsorship. So it's so hard, but we try our best.
Yeah. Cool.
So, exactly. Cool.
We better
Cheers,
get down
mate.
there.
Yes, we've got to shoot down there. Lovely. Well, hopefully his missus ain't watching this.
Yeah, don't worry. Don't think
we've got about a minute and a half for this.
Cool.
So let's chat to these two here. We've got Matthew Wilson and Callum Newsham just here. Huh?
I just said,
Matthew Wilson is down here. Right. Matthew, firstly, very quickly, because we've only got about a minute or so, race one was a bit of a tough one, wasn't it?
It was a tough one. However, I had a really good race with Scott.
Yeah.
I just didn't get him by the end, which unfortunately missed out on the reverse grid. So I got the 11th, but it means I just got to work harder now for the next race.
Yeah. The only thing that you know from that one, you start in 11th, but then you know the drivers who were just in front of you won the last one. So if you can latch onto the back of them, follow them, it might help you out.
Exactly. I'm sure they're going to work their way back to the front. So as long as I can follow them and follow the hole they're going to make, that's all I need to do.
Lovely. Do you know what? I love Matt's accent. It's so much better than yours.
Give me that back. That's enough from you.
Right.
He fancies you and not me. Nice one, mate. Well done.
Cheers, mate. Cheers. Do you want to ask this one? I'll let you do it.
Callum Newsham.
Yes.
Mate, you got up to like 4th or 5th?
Yeah, we were from 9th.
Flying, because qualifying wasn't so good, was it?
No, we had a bit of issues in qualifying. And on my side, I didn't hook up a lap properly. So
yeah. Andy McEwen was saying in comms that he might have thought that you used the front tyres too hard too early. But what was could you just drop back a bit, or was it just the pace of everybody else in the Gen 2s?
We had a big misfire, so the fuel pump just destroyed itself basically. So yeah, we were struggling. Halfway through the race, just lost power.
Yeah.
It was just misfiring everywhere, so we just dropped back like a stone.
Yeah. And what was that?
What
was the misfire?
Fuel pump.
Oh, okay. And it's sorted?
I don't know yet. I don't know.
Oh, right. You'll find out then.
Yeah, I'll find out in a bit.
Good man. Well, look down that camera, because I think we're going to all say goodbye together, aren't we?
We are indeed. Yeah, we're going to say goodbye. Do you like Mazdas?
No.
Do you like Anthony?
We do.
Yes.
Exactly. Oh, that's nice. Anyway, Mazdas, they're coming up next. Stay with us.